this one? This is part 1.
I have to go back where I was. Maybe it's there actually.
Yeah.
Okay, it's and if I need the second part, where is that?
Just like that. This is the part 2. Yeah,
Okay.
Make it bigger.
That's wonderful. Okay.
Can you zoom the zoom?
Okay, Brahmahatya. Yeah, okay, that's it.
The zoom thing disappear. No, we are not sharing on zoom. You can ask them, can they hear us properly? Doors, can you all hear well?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
We are able to hear, Prabhuji.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Chai.
So 4 fingers. Okay. Here's part 1 and part 2.
Part 1, yeah. Yeah.
Hit this one.
No, this one we don't need.
Okay, this one.
It's too scary.
Okay. This is part 1, Maharaj. This is part 2.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnanam Jara Sharakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Pashtya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. Welcome home. Yes. Krishna says, I'm not in the austerities of the yogis. I am where?
There's 2 or more devotees discussing.
Yes, exactly. Where the devotees are discussing my glories, then I am there. So that's why we are home. So you remember the other day we shared how, okay, first I'd like to see if you remember. So what is the main problem of life?
Lack of love.
Yes, we don't have love for Krishna. That's the main problem of life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that when we realize that, we become completely devastated. Because without love for Krishna, what do we have? Nothing. We have nothing. Yes. So, because the nature of the soul is love, and the form of that love is service to Krishna. So without love, we are nothing. But when we speak about love, we speak about prema, love for Krishna. So this is, if we want to live truly, then we need to develop love for Krishna. Otherwise, just like Gurudev was saying yesterday night, you can have so many zeros in your bank account, but if you don't have one in front, then it's just zero, a big zero. So, and this is, I mean, if we understand the nature of the soul, it is only natural that we are nothing without Krishna. We're nothing without love. How can we say we have a heart if we don't feel love for Krishna? You know, Rupa Goswami says that when we chant the holy name, if we don't have tears, then we have to understand that our heart is made of iron. Yeah. So we should think about that, because actually the first feeling, Gurudev was speaking about that also yesterday evening. He was speaking about repentance. The Acharyas explained this. Well, Gurudev explained this last night. So basically, when the first spiritual feeling that awakens in the heart is repentance, regret, deep regret. Oh, Krishna, I've wasted my life for so many lifetimes. Prabhupada said that you have given so many lifetimes to Maya. Why don't you just give this one life to Krishna? And when you think about it, that's true. We have given so many lifetimes. Why don't we give this one lifetime to Krishna? You know, that makes sense, actually. Understanding we are the soul and we're meant to live a deep, loving relationship with Radha and Krishna, then naturally it makes sense. Completely. So we should take this seriously. We're meant for love. And without that love, we don't have life. We don't have meaning. Because the soul is meant to love Krishna. Okay. So we'll stop the introduction. And we'll get... Are you ready for part 2 of Holi War? I didn't hear you. Are you ready for part 2 of Holi War? War! I think part 2 will be really special, okay? Because the war has not started yet. So what did we finish on last time?
Has Madhumangal been sitting with his shika tied to the tree this whole time?
Yes.
Since we stopped?
Yes, exactly, yeah, probably. Because, for Krishna, time is conspicuous by its absence, and one second in Braj is many years here, so probably it's still stuck on the tree. But there was one specific thing.
He cried out Brahmahatya.
Yes, exactly. Brahmahatya, murder of Brahmana. So, actually, it was screaming so loudly that his voice carried over the forest and it reached Krishna's camp. And then Krishna, he heard the cry of his dear friend Madhumangal and he became completely restless. So the sound of Madhumangal's desperate plea for help, it stirred completely Krishna's heart, but deeply. And as the wind carried the cry of Krishna, save me, then Krishna prepared to intervene because he knew that the height of this holy war, of this divine pastime was near. And then Madhumangal screamed again, Krishna, save me! Krishna, save me! Oh Gopal! Oh Braja Sundara! Oh Gokulendra Tanava! You are the son of Nanda. Please don't fear the gopis. You are Sridham Priya. You are Balaram Bai. You are Damodar. Please give up your fear and quickly come to protect me. So significant for us. Huh? We should plea, we should cry like Madhumangal did. Because Krishna came to save him. Huh? So Krishna then he takes Subal to the side and he says, Subal, do you also hear those helpless cries of Madhu? Let's go and free our friend from the captivity of the gopis. So actually, Raghunath, he offers special prayers to Subal. He says, I offer my obeisances to Krishna's dear friend Subal, who, out of great loving fear, cannot let go of Govinda's hand even in dreams. Subal never lets go of his friend's hand, even while he dreams. Very beautiful. So, for example, during the day, we might remember Krishna, perhaps only when we hear the sound of prasadam, of the prasadam prayer, then we stir up at that time. But actually, Subal he always thinks of Krishna. So we should meditate on Subal because even in dreams, he cannot let go. and he is constantly showered by Radha's love. Because Radha, she knows that Subal is one of Krishna's greatest assistants in organizing meetings with her. Okay, so, but she knows also that Madhumangal, Subal, because we're seeing three characters, Madhumangal, Subal, and, no, Ujval, three Priyanamasakas. Because she knows that they are usually sent as messengers to bring her together with Krishna. So Krishna readies himself, he says, let's go and free our friend from the captivity of the gopis. And then, okay, Subali intervenes. He says, no, don't go. I feel this is just the beginning of a huge battle. And the king should not go in front of his soldiers. If he's captured, the battle is already over. You stay here, and I will go and deliver a message of love to Shri Radha. So Krishna concedes, true, Subal. In the past, you have served me as a skillful messenger. You know how to speak sweetly, and that is a quality of a good messenger. You also understand, so he gives three qualities of a messenger. So you also understand the message clearly, and you can make the gopis understand, which is not an easy thing, especially when they're ready for war. So he says, you are also a scholar, and you will not be misinterpreted by the gopis. Go now and fulfill the service. So Krishna, actually, in fact, because we're saying, in which season is this holy pastime happening? Spring. And Krishna, we know, is the personification of spring. So that's why actually, he declares himself in the Bhagavad Gita, I am
Flower-bearing spring.
Yes, I am flower-bearing spring. So he is the essence of spring. And for us, it's important, this statement, because actually all the qualities of spring are beautifully exemplified, embodied by Shyam Sundar. So that's why spring is very important for us. Because okay, I have another meditation for you. Close your eyes for a sec. Open your heart and listen. The blossoming flowers resemble his lips. The buzzing bees are likened to the curls of Radha's hair, and the cuckoo's melody mirrors her voice. The sweet breeze, fragrant with sandalwood, symbolizes the exhalations of Radha and Krishna, creating the perfect stage for their divine meeting. In this world, the greatest service you can do for Krishna is to share the message of the Bhagavad Gita. But the condition shows, because Krishna himself, he says in the Gita, no one is more dear to me than he who explains this topic to other devotees. It's because the subject of Krishna consciousness, it helps to bring people back to Krishna. But what is the best service you can render in the spiritual world?
I'm confused. You first gave us a meditation.
Yes.
And then you said it's the best service to share Bhagavad Gita. What's the connection?
You have to hear. There's a deep connection there. That's why I'm asking, what's the best? Because we were speaking about, actually, we're getting back to Subal, how Subal is a very special messenger of Krishna. So, okay, what is the best service we can render in the spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan, to Radha and Krishna?
Bring Radha and Krishna together.
Yes, exactly. To bring Radha and Krishna together. And we see here in this world, we try to actually bring conditioned souls to Krishna, but in the spiritual realm, in Goloka Vrindavan, the focus is to bring Radha and Krishna together. So that's why when Radha, she sees Subal approaching, she becomes really excited. Why?
Because she knows she's going to meet Krishna.
Yes, because she knows. Because Subal, his service, which is very special, is to bring the divine couple together. And that's why Radharani, when she sees Subal, she becomes overjoyed by his presence. And I found a pranam mantra for Subal Saka. Very beautiful. I praise Hari's dear friend Subal, whose bodily luster defeats gold, who wears a necklace and a green dhoti. So sometimes he wears blue dhoti and sometimes green. Whose eyes resemble blue lotus flowers and who delights his friends. We shared in a class on Subal Saka previously that actually Subal is just like Srimati Radharani, but in the body of a man, of a boy. He has the same feet, the same hands, and the face is also very similar. He's of golden color. He wears blue dhoti, and his eyes are just like Srimati Radharani also. So much so that sometimes Srimati Radharani, she exchanges dress with Subal, and in this way, even Madhu Yashoda, she cannot recognize that actually it's Subal Saka. Just to show you how much he resembles Srimati Radharani. So Subal, he arrives, but he speaks to Srimati Radharani in an indirect manner because he respects her position as Krishna's most beloved. And he doesn't address Radharani directly, but instead he speaks to Brinda Devi, while Radharani, she listens quietly, as she usually does, when she's speaking in front of other men other than Krishna. Yeah?
Maharaj, you mentioned that the other side, Madhumanga was crying out, Brahmahatya,
Yes.
Brahmahatya, I need help.
Yes.
And now he's bringing message of love from
Yes.
Krishna. Why is that?
Because actually, you'll see with the story how it unfolds. I don't want to say right now, but you'll see. So, Subal, he speaks to Srimati Radharani, but indirectly. And then he addresses Brinda Devi. We heard that Madhumangal is crying. Please tell us why he made such a huge noise. Normally, he makes us laugh. And Radharani, she observes Subal's sweet behavior. And then, again, she looks at him and she wonders what he already knows, about Madhumangal and everything, what was his plan. So she thinks, she pauses for a second, she thinks to herself, oh my mind, whenever I think of Krishna, and now seeing Subal, who reminds me so much of him, I feel such distress. Be patient, you will meet Krishna soon. So to answer your question, actually, remember, like at the beginning, why did Madhumangal, he did that?
Yeah.
Why did he go in Radharani's camp? What was his first intention? He made it look, when he threw his, he was dancing wildly in ecstasy, so that's why he lost his Brahman thread. Yeah, he lost his dhoti too. And the Gopas, they had a good laugh at it.
He's unhappy with Krishna.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to join Radharani's camp.
Okay, but is that the true intention of Madhumangal? There was another intention.
To bring Radha and Krishna together?
Yes. To bring Radha and Krishna together. But he said something. When he came to Radha, he said something. He made a vow to Krishna and he made a vow to Radha. What was that vow?
I don't remember.
That if Krishna didn't pay obeisances to her, fall down at her feet?
Yes, exactly. If Krishna didn't fall at her feet and put his head at her feet, until then, Madhumangal will stay in the camp of Srimati Radharani. So that's the reason why he did that. He wanted to reunite, but in a special way that Krishna will actually, through this Holi War, will accept defeat and will fall at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Does that answer your question?
But it's Subal who's the messenger, right? And
Yes.
Madhumangal is still
He's still there. Madhumangal is still there. We said, huh? Even since last time, he's still been stuck to that tree.
He's there for the last 3 days.
Yes, that's a long time, So again, okay, we just go back. Radharani, she thinks to herself, oh my mind, whenever I think of Krishna, and now seeing Subal, who reminds me so much of him. Why does Subal reminds Radharani of Krishna? Although he looks like Radharani. Yes, exactly. Because Subal Saka is Krishna, their most confidential friend. That's why. Okay. So, meanwhile, the gopis are there. And they're eager to start Holi. So they have their hands full of colors, ready to fight. And they approach Subal, who is still speaking sweetly, and he exclaims, tell us, why is our friend crying so desperately? Now, Radharani, she stops the gopis. And then she stops the gopis for a sec, but they're reluctant. They look at Radharani because they want to start the Holi War. But then she instructs them. She says, don't sprinkle him just yet. Let us first hear him out and then decide how to deal with him. So Brinda Devi, she replies, no, wait. So, breaking tradition, Subal, he directly addresses Radharani and he says, "Hey, Radha, you're praised by all the saints for your immense love. Why are you angry with my friend Madhu Mangal? He is only a simple Brahmana boy. Why subject him to such torment?" And just then, Lalita, she comes from an unexpected angle and she smears black kajal around one of Subal's eyes. And she leaves the other untouched. And Subali protests, "Hey, Radhika, is this how you treat your guests? Have you trained your Sakis to act like this? I have committed no offense. Even if a messenger brings unpleasant news or represents an enemy, one should still treat him with respect." And Lalita, she retorts, "No, this is perfectly proper. In the month of Holi, Braj welcomes such intense play, including smearing kajal on others' faces." And Brinda Devi, she intervenes and she says, No. Don't be so harsh with him. Fire and enemies may need to be extinguished immediately, but he is neither. He is just Madhumangal. And then she adds, Radha, when a merciful person like you acts cruelly, love will vanish from this world and descend to the lower planets. And then Radharani, she listens to this sweet discussion, and with like a subtle wink, she signaled her Sakis to release Subal and Madhumangal. And the Sakis, they immediately understand, and they open the door of the Kunj, and taking this chance, Madhumangal as well, because they're afraid of what the gopis will do to them, they quickly escape and they run back to Krishna. And then when they reach Krishna, Madhumangal jokes. He says, look Krishna, at Subal's eyes, smeared with kajal. And then he narrates the whole incident. And then Krishna, he laughs and he says, you look like your linga that has been worshipped with flowers, lotuses, chandan, and many colors. And then, when Subal hears this, he becomes frustrated and he declares, this is enough. The gopis have disrespected us. They want to claim Braj for themselves, drive us out, and take over our grazing lands, which were given to us by Nanda Maharaj. They have become intoxicated by the beauty, and we must act. And Madhumangal joins in and he says, there are so many, but we will not let this stand. And Krishna, he laughs again. But finally, he responds with mock seriousness. And then he says, I was the general of our army, but we lost. Now I must retreat into the forest to practice tapasya. Leave me alone. You should no longer have faith in me. So very beautiful, actually. And then, what's interesting is that in this pastime of Holi, there's Madhurya Ras, because there's the meeting of Radha and Krishna, but at the same time, there's Vira Rasa. You know what is Vira Rasa? Yes. Chivalry. Because actually, the Acharyas, they explain in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami explains that different rasas, they can be in harmony with other rasas, or sometimes they can be in rasabas, meaning they can be in disharmony. But Vira Rasa is in complete harmony with Madhurya Ras. Why?
It has to be experienced to understand.
It has to be Definitely. But there's one purpose. Why Virarasa? It is really good in the Madhurya Ras. Because it becomes...
Separation.
Sorry?
Love and separation becomes Vitaras.
Yes, but it becomes heroic love, you know? It's like it's a fight but for love. It becomes heroic love, and that's why it brings a very special meeting with Radha and Krishna. That's why they're in complete harmony with each other. Okay, so here we arrive. So Radha, she's praying in her mind. She says, but why are you so eager to meet Krishna? And as her heart is filled with longing to see her dear Krishna, she released the two messengers of love, Madhumangal and Subal. And these two, they came back to Krishna's camp and they carried the message, definitely. So, actually, Subal, with his golden complexion, he now sports a big black eye, smeared with kajal. And then, actually, the message they bring is serious. So what is the message of Subal and Madhumangal to Krishna?
That we must retaliate.
Yes, we must retaliate. It has gone too far. These gopis, they want to take the land of Braj. No? So, actually, as Madhumangal and Subal, they ran from Radha's camp, the Sakis, they started laughing and shouting, ho, ho! And the laughter, it filled the air as they watched the two helpless messengers fleeing in their colorful, chaotic states. And then, actually, the Sakis, they become completely contagious with laughing. And all the Sakis, they start laughing because they knew they will win this war. And then, the mood at that time begins to shift. That's when actually, when war is almost getting there, the Virarasa is building up, and then there's a sense of confrontation, which will bring this Lila to a special conclusion. So, how much are we with time?
15 more minutes.
15 more minutes? Okay. So we'll get into, how do I get in part 2? It's like this.
Put 4 hands, 4 fingers.
4 fingers? Oh, yes. Okay, that's great. Okay. So before we get into the middle of the war, I wanted to share a little bit about Holi. So what do you know about Holi? I would like to ask you.
Colors.
Colors. Yes. What else?
Throwing them at each other.
Throwing them at each other. Have you been to Holi before? Yes? Okay, I'll share you a personal story. So I was staying in MVT in Vrindavan, and I was staying with a sannyasi at the time, together in the room. And then in the morning, it was the day, I think it was the second day of Holi, but it was war outside. Have you been in Vrindavan for Holi?
No.
No?
Intentionally, no.
Yeah, it's really war. When you go outside, there's thousands of people throwing colors at each other. And I was with that sannyasi, and then he said, I think this morning is special, it's holy, it's special. I think we should go take the darshan of this, the 7 deities of Vrindavan, the 7 Goswamis, of all the Goswamis. And I told him, but Maharaj, that actually today is holy, and it's war outside, do you really want to do that? And then he looked at me incredulously, and he said, but don't you have faith in Krishna? I said, oh, okay, you're right. He says, have faith in Krishna and you'll be protected. So we go together. And I couldn't believe what happened to myself, because actually we were one next to each other. And I was not even teasing the Brajbasis that were there. But as we were walking together, me and the Maharaj, actually, there were hundreds of people coming to me and throwing colors at me, but the Swami didn't get anything whatsoever. And then I looked at him, I was drenched with colors everywhere, and I looked at him, he was completely, free from any colors. And I said, wow, you were right, actually. I think I didn't have enough trust and faith in Krishna. And this was really for me like a good lesson, that actually if you have sincere faith in Krishna, then he will protect you. I think that day I did not have enough faith in Krishna. And I got I got the sauce. So Holi is very special, but actually, did you know that there are many different kinds of Holi festivals? And it lasts actually in Braj, it lasts over a month, actually, very long time. So traditionally, during this time, we know that people, they throw colors. So which kind of colors do they throw at each other? Have you ever heard?
Which colors? Like yellow, blue.
Yeah, so different colors. So, but actually it's described. There are different colors. There's saffron color. Yes? So there's saffron color. There's a white scented powder, because usually the powders, they're scented with some fragrance. There's a white scented powder that is called Shobha. And then there's a black powder that is called Aha. And Krishna, he once joked with Madhumangal, and he said, you look like a Shivalingam drenched in various substances. And actually this black powder, it is believed by the Brajbasis to make you blind with love. And Subali got that black powder. No? So there's also a sandalwood paste, chandan. There's vermilion. It's like, it's like slightly reddish, like kumkum, and it catches the eye. There's also a pink colored powder that is called gulal. So different colors are there that are described in the Shastras. And also, there are not only powders, but flowers are used, like teshu. Do you know teshu? It's a flower that is very colorful, and that when you mix it with other ingredients, it becomes like a vibrant color that you can throw at others. So there's also, like we were saying, there are different types of holi. Have you heard about the different holis before? No? So actually, we know the traditional where we spray colors at each other, but there's one that is Latmar Holi. It's woman. So in Braj, in the villages, there are many different kind of holis. And there's one, the Latmar Holi. The women, they playfully strike their elder brothers-in-law with wooden sticks. And the men, they act like the knights of old, and they defend themselves with shields. Have you ever seen that? Yeah?
I've heard about that.
You heard about that?
I don't know how playful this is.
Like I said, sometimes it can be war, So there's also Los Holi, celebrated in Braj. So people, they throw lassi at each other. And sometimes they jump and they try to catch it in their mouths as they throw the lassi at each other. So there's Chadar Holi. You heard it. This is celebrated in Gokul. And Chadar Holi, it's mothers who gently touch their sons with the tin sticks in a playful manner. Oh no, I thought there's another Holi that is used with Chadars, but in this one, it's just mothers that hit their sons with their sticks. And then there's Wet Holi with saris. So sisters-in-law, they playfully attack their brothers-in-law with wet saris, drenched in colors. And it creates because sari is like a lot of tissue. When they drench it in colors and water, it makes like a big boom when you hit it at each other. So actually, I said 30 days, but in Braj, Holi is celebrated with such fervor that it lasts for 40 days. And for a traditional Holi enthusiast, every day there's a different Holi that happens in that festival. So day one, it's in Barshana, and the loud Holi is celebrated. People, they throw sweets at each other in a playful and sweet way where nothing goes to waste. And like we were saying, they try to catch the sweets with their mouths like that. There's a story in the New Mayapur temple in France. It's a castle, and the devotees, they had this competition where there was one devotee opening his mouth like that on the other side of the castle, and from the other side there was one other devotee who was throwing a gulab jamun, and the game was you had to catch the gulab jamun in your mouth. So this comes from Braj, actually, to do that at Holi. So then second day is Latmar Holi, and then we're saying it's the women, they playfully beat the men with sticks, and sometimes the play becomes so much intense, it is said that during those times, Radha and Krishna, they appear to protect their devotees. And if someone gets hurt, the dust from the ground where the play it happened is collected and smeared on the injury, because sometimes they have some injuries, like throwing sticks or fighting with sticks together. So actually, it is believed to heal the wound because of the divine presence of Radha and Krishna, using the dust of Braj. This is the mood of the Braj Basis. So day 3, it's a smaller version of Latmar Holi, but this time it's celebrated in Nandagram. And then day 4, it's Holi in Vrindavan, and then it involves colors and syringes filled with colored liquids. So many different Holis. And day 5, in Gokul, small sticks are used during the playful Holi celebration against sticks. So it's truly a war. And day 6, they burn someone. Have you ever heard of that? It's the burning of Holika. So what's the story of Holika?
Narasimha appearance.
Yes.
Hiranyakashipu, always try to kill Prahlad, right? Holika is like a cousin to Hiranyakashipu. So he engages her. She says I will, burn Prahlad.
Yeah, she'll hold him in his lap.
And she has some kind of one cloth that will protect her. But when she was doing that cloth was actually gone out, and that cloth came to protect Prahlad, but she burned her.
Thank you.
And it was there in Vrindavan only. It's like some 30 miles away. There is one temple also. Still, every year they do that.
Yes, exactly.
And one Pandit actually he walks on the fire also.
He walks on the fire during that
Every
time.
it's a very
Some crazy things happen in Braj.
very scary thing that happens.
So actually on day 6, it's the burning of Holika. So actually they create... Hare Krishna. So on day 6, they create a huge statue of Holika, and then they burn Holika on with fire and everything, and there's a big
In
celebration.
that fire, that Pandit actually
In that fire, that
very
Pandit
big fire.
walks
It's
in.
like a very big building kind of fire, and he ran.
He ran through the fire after Holika is burned. Wow, that's amazing. So then, on day 7, Holi, it spreads across all the villages and the forests of Braj. So it starts, locally, and then it spreads everywhere around. And day 8, it's in Dauji. What is Dauji? Dauji is Balaram's village. So they have wet chadar Holi, we're saying. So wet chadar, they use their own chadar, which are really big in Braj, and then they drench it in colors and water, and then they hit it at each other like that, to throw the waters. So there's so many different Holis in Braj, but I think we'll stop here because it's a good time to stop. After that, the war is starting. I just wanted to say a few things about Holi festival so we understand, because actually all these different festivals, they come from Braj. And traditionally, Radha and Krishna, they perform Holi in so many different ways, like we can see in what the Brajbasis are doing for their 40 days. This is, taken from Radha and Krishna and the Gopas and the Gopis that are throwing colors at each other. Even sometimes also, traditionally in Braj, the men and the women, they throw also yogurt. We hear, from Krishna Lila that actually Nanda Maharaj, he throws yogurt and lassi at Mother Yashoda. And the elder Gopas and Gopis, they do this also, just like the young ones are doing. They also throw liquids and sometimes yogurt and lassi, butter at each other. So these are very sweet, loving pastimes. So we'll finish here. Are there any questions before we finish?
Maharaj,
Yes.
when Brajvasis throw holy colors on you, which color cloth you are actually?
It was saffron color. And actually, I had so much powders because it's really war. When they get at you, and sometimes there's 10 of them, like throwing pot, I had everywhere in my glasses, in my ears, in my mouth, in my eyes, everywhere. But seriously, I mean, that was a complete miracle because he was just next to me and didn't even get one, spot of a color. And I was completely drenched from head to toe. That was amazing. Yeah, that was special. Yeah.
So, just heard the beautiful pastime I have. So, when we're celebrating Holi, what should we have mood? So, what's the actual significance? Because all over India nowadays, everyone is celebrating Holi all over the world as well. So, so what kind of mood one should have the holy day, and what is the significance of it? Are there any other rituals that one should do? So, just want to know more about
Yes.
the things. Obviously, it's like the mood and the war between Radha and Krishna, and Radha Sakis, like Radha friends and Krishna's friends. It all started there. It's origin of all these origins. Krishna, as well as origin of all festivals, is also Vrindavan. That's like you said. So, what's the mood one should have when we celebrate? Because nowadays, like we said, Holi is just colors. We just pour all the colors on one another. When we fight, we dance. So many songs, mostly Bollywood songs. So that's how it is nowadays. Also, some temples also celebrate in the same way. It's just another attraction where we spread colors and then unite everybody.
Well, Holi is a very, very special pastime because it involves all the sakas and the sakis. And, we were saying that there's Vira Rasa, heroic love, to bring Radha and Krishna together in a very special mood where Krishna, in that particular Holi, because there's so many different kinds of Holis with Radha and Krishna, but in that particular one, for Krishna to fall at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and declare defeat and declare her the winner, So actually that pastime is special because it brings a very special friendship mood between the sakas and the sakis. But at the same time, also, it brings Radha and Krishna together in a very special reunion. So that's one thing we should meditate on. But when we perform these festivals, We just don't perform these festivals because they're fun or because it's nice to throw colors at each other. We perform these festivals to remember Radha and Krishna's pastimes. So whatever we do, we can do different things. We can throw colors at each other, or this can be done. Like we're seeing, there are different kinds of holies that are done in Braj. But every time we manifest a festival, it should always be for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna, as a remembrance for their sweet loving pastimes, and also to connect ourselves with their pastimes by performing this holy festival. So that should be the mood. Is that okay? Anything else? Jai Holi War, Jai Holi War ki, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Janitai Gaura Premanande.
You can just ask any questions on them.
Is there a question online? Jai Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj. This was a wonderful class.
Jai Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I think one devotee has raised his hand.
Yes?
Yeah, I put my question in the chat.
Okay.
But do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can read it, please.
Yeah, so this was maybe not related to the pastime, but a general question. So we are usually focusing on the meeting of Radha and Krishna, but then the other sakhas and sakhis also have their individual rasas and sweetness with Krishna. So how does that factor in? Like, does it, how do they handle potential feelings of jealousy or such?
So I don't get exactly your question. You mean like you were speaking about feelings of jealousy in regard to which situation?
Just in terms of their individual exchanges.
Okay. Well, one thing that we have to understand is that although in Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna, they are the center of everything, still Krishna, he appreciates when his devotees, they love each other. So because it is pleasing to Krishna's heart, Braj is a family, and it's just one big family, and Krishna is really appreciative when the devotees, they share love with each other. But one thing that we have to understand is that although, for example, the devotees, they have love for all the other Brajbasis that are around them, the family members or, other Brajbasis they do service with, still at the same time, it's always connected to Radha and Krishna. For example, I'll give you a simple example. We know from the story where where Brahma, he steals all the card boys and the calves. So why does Krishna do that? Why did Brahma stole, and why did Krishna arrange for that pastime to happen? There's one specific reason, is that he wanted to become the son of all the mothers, so that their mothers, they could have Krishna as their son. And that's one thing that is really important to understand, and that's the dynamic of the relationships in Braj. It's that, for example, when the mother, when she holds her son on her lap, there's a very sweet exchange of love between the mother and the son, because the son, when the mother holds her son on her lap, she can feel Krishna's presence, because the son is so especially connected with Krishna. So by holding her son in this way, the mother, she gets to experience Krishna's presence in qualities. And in the same way also, when the son is held by his mother, then you can feel his mother's love for Krishna also. So it's always connected like that. It's very beautiful. At the same time, so there cannot be very jealousy or envy, because in Braj, there's so much love. The personalities that are there